Hey Canucks fans, what's the next priority for the Canucks? Is it signing a forward or is it signing a defenseman? I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club. This is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Saturday, October the 17th. This is where you get Canucks insight that's positive and timely. Now, I'm in the middle of running a meeting, a webinar for work, but I have a 15-minute break, so I thought I had enough time just to sneak this vlog in. And it's really interesting. As the Canucks continue to shape their roster for next season, we know that there's still Jake Virtanen's arbitration hearing. Adam Gaudette needs to be signed. Josh Leivo is sitting out there as a free agent. And there's a lot of talk as to what the Canucks should do next. And I bring this up especially because we just heard that Cody Ceci, defenseman formerly of Toronto, is now on his way to Pittsburgh on a one-year deal worth $1.25 million, just 1.25. And that's very, very significant because he's coming off a one-year deal that paid him $4.8 million. So to go from 4.8 to 1.25, he's basically making one quarter of what he made last season. Before the 4.8, there was a 4.5 contract. And before that, I think it was a $2.5 million contract. And then before that, it was his ELC. So he's basically gone from $900,000 a year to $2.8 million a year, to $4.3 million a year, to $4.8 million a year, and then down to 1.25. So obviously, it's a sign of the times. It's a sign of the pandemic. It's a sign that there's not a lot of money out there. Most of the big names, aside from a few like Hoffman, like Canuck, and others, most of the big names are kind of off the market now. So you're trying to squeeze in still a lot of players that are still unrestricted free agents into a system where there's not a lot of free money around right now. And that's why I think we're going to start to see a lot of these contracts be 1 year for $1 million and change, 1 year for $1.5 million, because A, there's not enough money. Well, that's the main reason, the big A. And then B, I think these are like kind of show me, reset, prove yourself contracts. And we're going to see a lot of those. So perhaps the Canucks can take advantage of a situation like that. So then you ask yourself, well, what about D or what about up front? Now let's talk about the blue line really quickly. Obviously, Tanev and Stetcher are gone. Nate Schmidt is in. So you have your top four of Hughes, Schmidt, Edler, and Myers. And then there's a lot of discussion as to what would happen next. Would you get another right shot D-man? And there's guys out there like Sami Vatanen who made 4.8 with Carolina last year, kind of injury prone, but maybe you can get him cheap. I know that's a name that's been out there. There's Travis Hamonic, most recently from Calgary. Calgary just got Tanev. They said bye to TJ Brody. They'll likely say bye to Hamonic. He made just under $4 million. Can you get him for $1 million and change? And either Hamonic or Vatanen would really beef up our right side, and then you'd have a right side with Schmidt, Myers, and then one of those two guys, Vatanen or Hamonic. That sounds really, really good. You can even try Schmidt on the left and then fill in, because no matter what, you're going to have to likely fill in your bottom pairing on the left side or the right side with one of Juolevi, Rathbone, Rafferty, or Chatfield. And don't forget, you have the Jordy Ben option as well. He could be your number 7, kind of that perfect swing where he can play both the left side or the right side, or maybe he makes it as a bona fide bottom pairing guy. So a lot of options on the blue line. So let me know, Canucks fans, which option appeals to you. Do you think they should still go after a Sami Vatanen, a Travis Hamonic, and fill in that third spot? Or should it go to a Rafferty or Chatfield or even a Jordy Ben? And ditto on the left side, is it a Juolevi? Is it a Rathbone? Or is it a Ben? Or is it someone else? But we seem to be talking about the right side more than the left side, although Myers and Schmidt are signed for a long time. Granted, Schmidt can play both sides, and then Edler's contract expires at the end of next season. So that's on the blue line. Then at forward position, there's a lot you can do. I forgot about Josh Leivo. I just had in my mind, actually, I forgot about him thinking that we had him already. But no, he's a UFA. Unfortunately, he's got no leverage in his negotiations given his horrible injury in December against Vegas. And he was having a really good season. He was playing in the top 6. And some would argue that he would be a better top 6 fit than, say, Jake Virtanen. So I want to explore that just for a couple of minutes here. With Virtanen, and we know, I vlogged about him a couple of days ago, the fact that he's got an October 28th arbitration date. Will the Canucks come up with a contract with him prior to that? Are they trying to trade him, sign and trade him? Who knows? There's a lot of theories out there. But the bottom line is Jake Virtanen good enough to play in the top 6 on this team? A lot of people say they don't want him with Bo Horvat and Tanner Pearson because that's more of our shutdown of the 2 top pairings. Horvat as our shutdown center, although he has a lot of offense. We saw that especially in the playoffs. That Horvat's line should be get the tougher minutes and get the shutdown role. And do you want Jake Virtanen? Is he just defensively responsible enough to play on the shutdown role? If you say no and you have no one else, then do you put him in the top line with Miller and Pettersson? And I joke around, I've heard other people say this. Miller will probably get really mad playing at Virtanen. Miller is not afraid to show his frustration sometimes. And I think Jake would frustrate him a little bit. Maybe not. Maybe Jake had that really nice, I think they played one game together where they actually produced really well in the postseason. Virtanen obviously has the speed to play with Petey and Miller, but does he have the hockey acumen to do that? And I guess that's debatable. And I've been talking about that before. But could Josh Leivo be an option? Could you put Besser back with Pettersson and Miller, reunite that Lotto line? Besser had 39 points in 41 games prior to them being split up in January. I'm not sure why Travis Green did that, but he was basically a point-of-game player. Then you could go Horvat, Pearson, and someone like Leivo, who's more defensively responsible than Virtanen, can still shoot, not as fast as Virtanen, but still has the offensive skills, and then put Virtanen maybe on a third-line role once again with maybe Gaudette and Sutter or Gaudette and Roussel, whoever it may be. So a lot of options there to think about as well. Yeah, so that's the second question. I guess the first question was, do you think the Canucks should go after another cheaper defenseman, veteran defenseman, or fill both spots, left and right side on the third pairing with rookies, or use Jordy Ben? So what would you do on defense? And then I guess the second question is, what would you do up front? Would you try and sign Josh Leivo for $1 million and change and bring him back and give him a shot in your top 6? Or are you going to take your chances with the arbitration ruling with Jake Virtanen? Now, one other thing to think about is a lot of people are saying because of the way that the rules are, after an arbitrator's ruling, you have a secondary buyout window. I've talked about this before, where you can buy out a player who makes more than $4 million. It's kind of convoluted, but basically, if the Canucks get to arbitration with Jake Virtanen, as opposed to sign him before, they could, within 48 hours of that ruling coming down, they could actually buy out someone like Brandon Sutter. And that would free up, as I've talked about before, a bit of cap space, $2 million a year, basically for the next 2 years, more or less. So that's another thing to think about as well. So it's complicated. We're only a week and a day now, just 8 days into free agency. I think the Canucks certainly aren't done, but I am quite fascinated to think about what should be their priority going forward. Okay, because it's Saturday, I'm also going to ask for submissions for my Ask Me Anything video on Sunday, which is tomorrow. So ask me anything you want about the Canucks free agency, roster, why I'm so good looking, the usual. Ask me and put it in the comments below. Just mark it AMA, and I'll do my best to answer them in my vlog tomorrow. And also tomorrow, I'll be interviewing my brother Jason for my next Zoom interview. Really excited about this. He's the more quieter of the two of us, surprise, surprise. But he's got a lot to say, and he knows a lot about the Vancouver Canucks, and is a very passionate fan, just like his older brother. So ask me anything. Now, for my vlog tomorrow, I'll be interviewing Jason. That will go up on Monday. And then don't forget my live streams now move from Sunday night to Monday night every week. And I hope you join me this Monday for my next one. Okay, there's a lot there, and all good stuff. So thanks for watching today. Leave a comment about the defense, about the forwards. What do you think the Canucks should prioritize next? Which position? Leave a comment, I'll read, react, and reply. Subscribe if you like to. Like this video if you like to. Stay safe, stay healthy. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. God bless, and go Canucks go.